Look at gold. Yada, yada, yada. Dee-dee-doo. Take a look at this. Didn't I say price was going to drop down? This is what I was waiting for. The price to drop down to the weekly demand zone. And some of you doubted this. Some of you were like, it's not going to drop. Why do you keep saying it's going to drop? How's it going, fellow traders? Magic Trader here, and welcome back. Welcome back. We got the latest set of data from the institutions, and this data was recorded on May 20th, 2025, and we have a snapshot here of that data for you. As I always like to do, I always like to take a look at the change column to see what was the big movers that took place over the last week. And we can see that there is a couple that stick out. One is 42,000 for the USDCAD, bullish. And the other one is bullish for S&P 500. So USDCAD and S&P 500, bullish, bullish, bullish. Now, you might be thinking, Kevin, didn't you take a short on the USDCAD? Yes. But remember, this data represents the week prior, okay? The week prior. We'll get into that very, very shortly. But let's start by taking a look at gold first. Look at gold. Yada, yada, yada. Dee-dee-doo. Take a look at this. Didn't I say price was going to drop down? This is what I was waiting for. The price to drop down to the weekly demand zone. And some of you doubted this. Some of you were like, it's not going to drop. Why do you keep saying it's going to drop? It's not going to drop. And then it dropped right to the weekly demand zone, and now look what's going on, okay? This is why I keep saying supply and demand rules the markets, period. If you don't know that, then it's a sad thing, because you're not going to be able to figure out where price is going to go with the accuracy that we do. So price came down into demand, and now they are buying. Now remember, this data represents this candle here as it was dropping, so it's still bearish data. When you look at it, you're like, oh, but it's still bearish. I don't see any increasing in longs. Yeah, because price was dropping at that time, okay? That's why. But bottom line is, it's inside demand. It responded to it, and it's moving to the upside. There was a long signal on there. Exactly what we teach took place, and bulletproof target has already been reached, and it is a beauty. Now let's take a look at oil. What's going on with oil? Well, oil, if you take a look at the positionings, not much going on here. Look at that. Okay, blue for longs, and a little bit of an increase in shorts a couple times. Well, that caused price to drop. And that's pretty much it. Look at this area of supply that was created. Nice, but look at this candle right there, right beneath that supply. Not much going on there. Coloration of the cells is blue, which tells us it's mostly neutral, okay? Mostly neutral, the sentiment with the banks. So they're not really aggressively short or biased to the short side or biased to the upside, so not much going on here with respect to the data. Now we take a look at the dollar. What do we see? Longs have been cooled off for quite some time. They haven't been focusing on longs, and we know that because we can see clearly here that they were focusing on shorts. This is a short cycle all throughout here, okay? That's why I drew a little cloud around it, because we've been in a short cycle for quite some time. And if you take a look at the sentiment, look at it. Look at the coloration of the cells. A little bit red. That means there is a bearish sentiment. You know why? Because they're focusing on pushing price this way. Okay? They're focusing on pushing price this way. In fact, look at this move. Look at this move. Looks like it's going to come down here probably even further, right? So bearish sentiment on the US dollar, and we definitely are expecting price to go lower. Lots of evidence suggesting that. Aussie, well, interesting thing here. When you take a look at the Aussie, longs have been cooled off for quite some time, haven't they? Yeah, they've been cooled off for quite some time. Now shorts, they've been aggressive with shorts, and for quite some time now, we saw this increase in shorts and decrease in shorts. The latest cycle is decreasing in shorts. Okay, that's what they've been doing, is decreasing in their short positions. And now we're getting some bullish price action. Now remember, we are at a supply zone, so usually what happens at supply is we get pressure to the downside. But we're seeing weakness in the dollar and strength amongst, the euro, the pound. So I'd be very cautious here. We were looking for a short signal. It wasn't produced. So that means there's a very good chance that price is going to go higher from this level. So just be careful with that one. Now we got USCAD. I took a short trade here and it was a beaut. It was a beaut. Worked out perfectly. And if it wasn't for the evidence that we are gathering with respect to the other markets, I would have never taken that trade. But it worked. And if we look at long positions, take a look at that. Pretty aggressive, 126,000. Yeah, they're probably going to start closing off those long positions. Okay, and that's what's going to fuel a move to the downside. I mean, if you look at shorts, they're not even really focused on shorts right now. All right, look at that. They've been very cooled off, those short positions, but still I see this moving to the downside. That's all the evidence is supporting and suggesting that price is going to continue to the downside. So I'm going to be watching for more setups to take advantage of this move to the downside. US Swiss franc. I mean, look, it's across the board on all the dollar-led pairs. Major weakness. The only thing with this one is that it is hitting an institutional demand zone. So we got to be careful here with going short. Because when demand is contacted, it tends to want to shoot price to the upside. Okay? Tends to. But we'll see what happens. It could break through and cause price to go lower. It's just not typical, right? It's all also pay attention to how weak the RSI was here. So this drop here could produce a stronger one and another stronger one, and then we see price move to the upside. I mean, it's possible. I don't think it's very likely, but it's very possible. Okay? So be careful, because this demand was never tested before. It's the first test. So I don't see any other way that this can play out over time except for making a move to the upside. But, different things can happen. You just don't know. Euro. Euro. Take a look at long positions, guys. Aggressive. Okay? I would say so. Aggressive. And you know what? We've been in a bullish cycle for some time now. Look, all throughout here. Doesn't look like they are ending this cycle. So they can continue buying and they can continue pushing price. Look at this big reversal. Stair steppers to the downside, bullish engulf. Okay? They can continue pushing price to the upside. Remember what happened on the monthly time frame? That spike through supply? Yeah. We could see this continue to the upside. I mean, they definitely aren't focusing on their short positions right now. Because you remember that? Look at that. Okay? Since contracts expired back in March 18th, they've been offloading a significant portion of their shorts. Okay? Not just that, but sentiment. Look at the coloration of the cells. What are they turning? Green. That's right. That's bullish. Bullish for the euro, guys. Looks like it's going to head higher. Same thing with pound. Same exact thing. Look how aggressive they are with their positioning here. Shorts, not so much. Coloration of the cells, a little bit green. A little bit. A tinge of green coming in here. But they already contacted the supply. It caused price to drop, and now it looks like it's going to eat away at that supply, and it's going to go higher, like this. So I'll be watching for long trades on this one. That's for darn sure. US dollar, Japanese yen. Looks like it's going to drop, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, especially when you got an aggressive position here. Aggressive positions here on shorts. Maximum size 204. Could they increase them more and cause price to drop? Yes, they could. Okay. Remember the indication here, RSI, suggesting push to the downside. I'm going to be watching this one for short trades. I think it looks beautiful for a short. And Kiwi, not much going on here. Okay. They were super aggressive with short positions. Remember, they reached maximum size, if you will remember this. I did in a previous video when they reached 73,000, which was the maximum size. I said they're going to start taking profits and it's going to fuel a move to the upside. And it has been upwards ever since. So, room to go even higher? Yeah, I think so. I do think so. All right. And that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this session. And if you want to learn more, whiteoakfx.com. We are teaching so much. We're teaching things that you're not going to be taught anywhere else. And that's why so many of our students are successful. And that's why so many of our students, they're in their testimonies, they say that it's changed their game, what they are learning from us. And if you really want to change your game, if you've been there, done that, and you've seen all the same nonsense, time to try something different. Okay? You'll like it. I promise you will. Anyways, take care. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe and all that other Django. And I would appreciate it. You take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.